Hello, my name is Noah Arceneaux. I'm a professor in the School of Journalism and Media Studies at San Diego State University. I'm recording this video in my campus office. That's why I've got this stuff behind me here. And I want to go through a comic collection, the run of Marvel Premiere that I have. And I only got serious, I want to say this, I only got serious about collecting comics during the pandemic, at least the early part when lockdown was still going on, certainly here in California. We all start to go through our stuff, realize what we have. Then I bought some other comics from a guy through Nextdoor, which was titles I didn't care about, but I did get this backing board with a really nice Wolverine cover on it. The previous owner obviously had done that. Anyway, I organized my comics and I find some stuff. I just used to buy weird stuff, not be a serious collector. Some stuff I bought in high school, must have been 1984, 1985, Montgomery, Alabama, from a store called Trading Books. I remember that store. And I had a couple copies of Marvel Premiere. Again, ones I just bought because I thought the title and the cover was interesting. I said, why don't I just get all of them? There's only 61 issues. Why don't I get all of them? So I made this video to kind of go through that collection and talk a little bit about some of the titles. I'm not going to go into the artists and the writers and the full history of each comic book character. That would take a long, long time. Marvel Premiere, I have to look at some notes here. Marvel Premiere was from 70 to 81. And despite the title, it wasn't really a place to show off a new character and then who would get its own book later. It really didn't function like that, at least most of the time it did not. So without further ado, here we go. Okay, first up, we have Marvel Premiere #1, The Power of Warlock. This character was first known as him or Adam, appeared back in Fantastic Four, #66 and #67. Then with Marvel Premiere, he gets his own book under the name Warlock, was then later spun off into his own title. Now, and then there was #2. How did I end up with 2 copies of this? Well, I had bought #2, and then when I bought #1, that is one of the more collectible issues of Marvel Premiere #1. When I bought that, the seller had combined books 1 and 2, so I figured it was worth a buy. I got both of them. Beginning with Marvel Premiere #3, we get several issues with the character Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was also not first introduced in Marvel Premiere. He goes back to, I have to look at my notes, Strange Tales #110 back in 1963. And then he had his own comic book for a while, and then he shows up here again in Marvel Premiere. Now that's issue #3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I want to talk about, I like that cover, and 9, 10. Now this one is interesting, at least to me, is that there is an Easter egg in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie. There's actually an Easter egg that references this particular comic book. The license plate, and I got this from a tweet, here it is. The license plate in a particular scene features P302. It refers to page 302 of a Doctor Strange reprint. The first issue, the first time that image appeared was actually in Marvel Premiere #10, this right here. It is the character of the Shumagorath. They use a different name in the movie, and I don't care if the Lego set has a different name. That character is the Shumagorath. 11, 12, and this one, 13. When I got this in the mail, I was buying comics through eBay, comic shops, etc. It has a stamp on the front, And at first I was kind of annoyed. I was like, man, I paid all this money for this comic book. It's got a stamp on the front. Now I think it's kind of cool, actually. I probably will buy another copy, just have a clean copy of this, but I think that stamp was kind of cool. But somehow I ended up with 3 copies of 14. Now, #15. This is the most collectible of the Marvel Premiere books. And I got this copy. It's a raw copy, but it seems to be in pretty decent shape, pretty good shape, from a guy named Kevin. Thank you to Kevin for selling this to me. It does have the Marvel value stamp in it. #15, written by Roy Thomas, famous cover by Gil Kane. This is the most expensive book in the collection. A graded copy of this can fetch a good deal of money. And we have a whole bunch of Iron Fist books. Okay, and then from Marvel Premiere issues 16 through 25, they're all Iron Fist. I'm just gonna, all these images that you're looking at, the photographs in the middle there, come from my collection. 16, 17, 18, there's a lot of Iron Fist here, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. After his introduction in Marvel Premiere and all these issues that featured the character, Iron Fist did get his own series that ran for a while. I don't know much about Iron Fist, I'm just being honest. So that was a case where Marvel Premiere did introduce a new character who then was spun off into his own book. But from then forward, it's a lot of one-offs or characters who only had very, very short runs, or stories that were just written for another title and didn't fit. So they just kind of threw them into Marvel Premiere. Some of the characters introduced didn't get their own books, but they later do show up in other Marvel comic books, specifically 2-in-1. I think that's what it is, where the Thing teams up with other characters. Here we have Hercules, Satana, Legion of Monsters. I got this particular book from Devlin, who runs Bizarro Wuxtry in Athens, Georgia. Really, really great comic shop. Thank you, Devlin. Legion of Monsters, these characters had been introduced before, including Ghost Rider, you see there. This was the first time they were ever all put together. And then the Legion of Monsters name, I think, was used in other books with different assortment of sort of weird monsters. But this was the first Legion of Monsters as a group. Liberty Legion gets 2 books, 2930. That's a nice cover there for number 30. We have Wood God, Monarch, Star Stalker, Mark of Cain, 2 books, 33, 34. 3D Man, somehow I ended up with a lot of copies of 3D Man, okay? 3D Man, number 35, number 36. And this is one of the books that I got from Trading Books. This when I back in high school, and it still has the stamp on it. Sometimes books get reused, but I know that I've had this comic in this bag since I bought it, I guess in the mid 80s. And look, I paid $1 for it. And another 3D Man, again, I also got this one from Trading Books. Yeah, there is the price tag is number 37. Weird World, that's a really, really choice cover there. Torpedo, 39 and 40. I got 2 copies of number 40. Seeker 3000. Now, Seeker 3000 is a sci-fi. It only appeared in 1 book. It's a sci-fi thing. The story manages to somehow copy both Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica. And it probably copies other science fiction stuff as well. But to me, it was like, yeah, that's like Star Trek and like Battlestar Galactica. Tigra or Tigra, I don't know. What is the proper pronunciation here? Paladin. Paladin, one of those came from Trading Books. Jack of Hearts, now we're at issue 44. 45, 46, Man-Wolf. Okay, AntMan. AntMan, which is Marvel Premiere number 47, is one of the more collectible books in this particular run. This was not the real introduction of AntMan. AntMan, that character goes back to 62 in something called Tales to Astonish. At that time, it was a scientist named Hank Pym who was AntMan. This is kind of a reboot of that idea. A character named Scott Lang becomes AntMan. And number 48 also features AntMan. Falcon. Alice Cooper. This is another book that I got from Devlin. Again, thank you, Devlin. Alice Cooper gets his own comic character. Now we have 3 Black Panthers, okay, 51, 52, and 53. Now, Black Panther goes back a long, long way, back to 66, introduced in Fantastic Four, number 52. Then he was star of Jungle Action, that series in 73. So Black Panther essentially already had his own book. Then there was a series that ran, I think, a little bit later. When that Black Panther series was discontinued, they just took 3 of the stories originally written for that and put them into Marvel Premiere. I got this issue number 52 from a guy named Pat, who sells comics out of Florida. Really nice guy now. He's selling me other books with titles that I'm interested in. Thank you, Pat. And number 53 is the conclusion of the Black Panther run of Marvel Premiere. 54, Caleb Hammer. Then we got Wonder Man. I got 3 copies of that, 55. Dominic Fortune. Now we have Doctor Who. He appeared in a couple of issues of Marvel Premiere. There was already a Doctor Who comic strip that appeared in Doctor Who magazine in England. So they took some of those stories, put them together. The covers are new. These covers are new for Marvel Premiere. Put them together and put out some Doctor Who stuff. I think I got this stuff. Yeah, the sticker there from Trading Books. That's on the bag. That's just on the bag. I paid 90 cents for that one. I paid 90 cents for that one. 59, Doctor Who. And finally, I got all the Doctor Who from Trading Books. Issue 60 is Doctor Who again. And concluding, we have Star-Lord. Star-Lord, again, one of these characters that had appeared elsewhere, specifically Marvel Preview in 76, and then he shows up here. Star-Lord now, of course, you may know him from Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, that's it for my quick overview. Sorry if I missed things, or also apologies if I got something wrong. Now that I've completed Marvel Premiere, I was thinking about Marvel Spotlight, a similar kind of title. But then I learned that the Marvel Spotlight that features Ghost Rider is just like wickedly, wickedly expensive, far, far out of my price range. So I will not be collecting Marvel Spotlight, but hope you like this or got something out of it.